Titans and tangents, step inside, where leaders speak and heroes shine.
Stories with purpose,
Moments that climb.
Titans and tangents.
Now it's time.
Welcome to Titans and Tangents, the show where big ideas collide with real life. I'm joined today by Dr. Jason Young. Let's not get it twisted. That's a doctor. He is a DC, a chiropractor, and owns an amazing chiropractor wellness center, Body of Health. Jason is a chiropractor, a podcast host, a family man, and one of those rare people who can talk spine health, performance, and human behavior without sounding like a textbook with a pulse.
Yeah, no pulse.
No pulse. Thank God. We want you dead here at Titans.
Yeah.
From the treatment room to the podcast studio, Jason knows how to cut through noise and get to what actually moves people forward. Today we're talking health, mindset, resilience, and the tangents that usually end up being the most interesting part of the convo. Let's get into it. Jason Young, welcome to the pod, Titans and Tangents. And we just go on tangents and So what is a tangent today? We have been...
Well, first of all, thank you for that great introduction.
You're welcome.
I asked you what's the podcast about, and you didn't tell me any of that stuff.
No.
Now I'm thinking, I gotta come up with.
Well, you are a Titan. I remember meeting you for the first when Finn played baseball,
Yes.
and you and your lovely wife. You were because when I first moved here, Finn was in middle school, and it's really hard to break into that mommy group, you know what I mean, And so, but your wife was so lovely. You were lovely. Griffin, I adore your son. He's a sweetheart. He would he'd be like, who've you coached? And I would tell him, and I'm like, P. Diddy. And this is before the parties that P.
Even freaks need coaching.
Even freaks need coaching. Those
That's
before
right.
the freak offs. And FYI, I was never invited to a freak off. If you must know,
Would you have gone?
Absolutely not. I got a lot of free De Leon. Tequila, which was great. And I actually helped his daughter Chance get into NYU Tisch School of Acting. And someone recently said, why? And I said, because the girl, his kids are lovely. And I think Sean kept those two worlds so separate. You know what I mean? And why? I'm not, come on. Life, no. But Griffin's a sweetheart. Alston. Now Alston, your son, plays baseball and football.
Yes.
He recently had a little injury, correct?
Yeah. So ACL tear. We actually had him on our podcast. So the pitch is PT,
Physical
therapy, and CH for chiro.
Right.
And so that's the pitch. And so he's really good athlete, 3-sport athlete, basketball, football, baseball. He was going to be the starting quarterback, tore his ACL, taking a grounder in the outfield just a couple months ago. But we actually had him on our podcast with a half hour's notice, and he broke down everything about ACLs. I was like, oh.
Well, let me ask you a question.
Zero desire to be a doctor of any kind.
Zero desire. What, when these kids get hurt so young, it's awful, because Finn just had a meniscus tear, and today's the first time he's going to play lacrosse again, which I'm very nervous about. But why do we see so many kids tearing? Let's talk about the football team Christian Gabriel, Fian, why are so many kids?
Sylvester.
Yeah, Sylvester, why? Why so many kids hurting themselves? Bad conditioning?
I think it's always been that way.
Right.
There's always been these sports injuries. I think one of the good things is that today we're better at, number one, identifying what's going on, and then number two, actually doing something that's going to get them back to playing. But, it's kind of fun. I grew up in Corvallis, and so when I go to these baseball games and stuff, I see all the aftermath of all the guys who were athletes when I was in high school, and they're all limping and gimping around because those injuries have always been there. People have always been tearing meniscuses and everything like that. It's just now I think we know a lot more about them, so you hear a lot more. Before it was just you got a bum knee now. Get back out there.
So my question to you, having the Pitch podcast and it being about physical therapy and chiropractic and your son tearing an ACL, which is it's a gnarly thing to happen to a kid.
It's a big one. It's going to cost him his senior year of football.
It will.
Unfortunately.
It will cost. Yeah. So what do you pivot? What's plan B?
He can't pivot right now because of the ACL tear. Raul, where's the sound effects, bro? Come on. Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. It's kind of heartbreaking, these kids. That's why I started the podcast for Finney. Meaning, because I was like, Finn, look, you love sports. lacrosse is not recognized at all here
Yeah.
in Corvallis. I mean, you guys are like the ugly stepsister sport that but I said the podcast, that's something that a college would look at if you can really produce it right your junior and senior
And he
year.
does a great job.
And does
I've
a great
listened
job.
to every single episode.
It's really good.
Yeah, it's good. Like, I'm like, man, this kid is poised. This is not like the kid that I
Hello,
talked
his
to.
mother is the number one media coach. I even said it when I tried, like the very first day he did it, I go, let's do a little media training. The worst to train.
Uh-huh.
And I said to him, I go, I don't need this. I don't need to train you.
Well, I imagine you probably aren't typically training a lot of teenagers, right? Teenagers, I think, would just
Be
tough.
the worst in general.
Yeah.
You're right. And having it be your own kid, even worse. But the funny thing is, he looked at me on the way to the studio and he goes, Mom, I've been sitting in your studio. I've been listening to you on Zoom. I have been listening to you for 16 years.
Yeah.
I think I got this. And it hit me, Jason. I go, all right, I got to let it go and see what. And he has been a natural. I mean,
Oh, so that's not with a ton of coaching. He just stepped up and did.
natural.
See, okay, so I had that same experience whenever Olsen came on the podcast because Olsen's a pretty like mild-mannered, quiet guy, and so it blew me away because like I was literally sitting there eating lunch, and Kathy, we had to pivot on our topic that day, and I was like, she was like, well, could we talk about ACLs? And I was like, yeah, I've recently been doing a lot of reading on ACLs.
Right.
Go figure. And so I thought maybe we could have Olsen on. She was like, yeah, if he would. So I called him up and I was like, in 30 minutes, can you be on the podcast? So sure. So the guy sits down with zero preparation. And because he's been listening to the podcast, he's like, he's got all the jokes and the inside stuff and he's saying stuff. And I'm like, oh, bro, that's like a deep cut from the podcast. Like, and yeah, so it made me feel good that my son listens to me. It probably made you feel good that like, it's like, oh, yay.
It really does. Like, it's funny because my older son, who lives in California, Lucas, my company cast the very first season of the TV show The Bachelor, and
Never heard of it.
Never heard of it. Yeah, and he is casting the new season, and I just was like, God, what a weird like full circle moment. Like, never did I think my kids listen to me or would even go in the same sort of route as me. So there's still hope that your kids are going to be a chiropractor. Like,
well, and here's a tangent. He must know one of my cousins then because she works in casting on The Bachelor too. Gosh, which one is it?
Are you lying?
Oh, no, I'm not. Man,
is she working on the current season right now?
I don't know. This was a few years ago. I know that she was.
Because it depends on what casting company is doing it. Because then they hire like 10 people underneath them. But yeah.
Yeah, I got to remember which one, if it was Sherelle
and I
or
paved the way for them.
But anyway, so now I hope that she never watches this because she's going to be like, oh no.
She's going to be like, you didn't even know your cousins.
Yeah,
but let's back up a little bit. So you're born and raised in Oregon. Okay, give me the skinny.
So I think there's two types of Oregonians. There's native Oregonians who are born and raised here, right? And then there's what's called a true Oregonian, which is people from California.
I'm a true Oregonian.
We're true Oregonians. Let's go.
Yay.
Yeah. So I lived in the Bay Area till I was 11.
Right.
And then moved up here mostly to escape some felony charges. No, just kidding.
He's kidding.
Am I?
We're Googling that right now.
We're an HP family. So my dad worked for HP. We had some friends who moved up here a long time ago. We'd come up and visit, and we're like, Oregon is really cool. And so we moved up here from San Jose. So I've lived here since I was 11. But yeah, I'm a Corvallis guy. And yeah, all the Corvallis things, beavers and, Woodstocks and, all that kind of stuff.
What's your favorite? Have you had Birdie's Pizza yet?
Oh, yeah. Birdie's is...
I mean, I don't know. Okay, so Woodstock or Birdie's? I mean, that's the big question.
They're not in the same category.
Well, who do you like better? Are you going to say Woodstock?
No, it really depends upon the occasion.
And I'm not talking about their Detroit deep dish at Birdie's. I'm talking about just their New York thin, yummy, like...
Yeah, I can't really put them in the same category because Birdie's is that is more of like an artisan.
It's so good.
It's
me and Finn have every Sunday.
It's a very
New York.
Pizza.
It's a very specific. It's very like Absolutely. I even said to Finn, like I recently took like Finn on a little like New York trip and we had pizza everywhere in New York and he was like, Mom, Birdie's, honestly, I like it better than New York. Like
it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yes, and it's pizza that's made by chefs.
Yeah, it's
right.
So
Whereas
good.
like
and it's a $40 pie, by the way.
Yeah,
but
you pay for it.
You're paying
But
for it.
Every other pizza place is like pizza is made by high schoolers, which
Exactly.
is what
It's
most
okay.
pizza in America is.
Right.
And it's just fine because,
Right.
you know, pizza is great. What's weird is, so American Dream is here, also a very Corvallis brand. I grew up hating American
Me too.
Dream.
I just don't like the cornmealy.
Yeah.
Why? I just that crust to me is just not yummy.
Was not it. Now, in the last like
Has it gotten
year,
better?
in the last year, I'm like, yeah, I eat a lot of American Dream pizza. I want the sausage, onion, and mushroom pizza. Like I could just eat that all day. And it's weird because I've always grown up, I don't like American Dream. And it's just, I mean, it's a very specific type of pizza. It's got a crust that you got to like that crust.
You gotta like that. But Woodstock I like way better than American Dream.
Yeah.
And Woodstock started in San Jose. There's a Woodstock in San Jose, believe it or not.
Yeah.
Because my older son went to, he was a banana slug. He went to UC Santa Cruz. So let me ask you a question about Corvallis. And we were talking about this a little earlier with Alex, the mayor of Albany. Why it's like, I feel like with Corvallis, it is such a but when it comes to media or like, you know, I went to go see a comic 2 weeks ago at the Majestic, which was so fun.
Yeah.
And like we went downtown, but everything closes so early. Why aren't we creating? They're not allowed to have a box store. We can't get a tie-in. And you being here for as long as you have, why?
So classically in Corvallis, we've been waiting for certain people to die.
Like who?
Like whoever is keeping us from having fun. It's the footloose people.
The fun
it's the
police,
footloose people, right?
Right.
And they're like, yeah. Well, but that's kind of always been Corvallis's brand. I shouldn't say always, but as long as I've known it, there's been people who are adamant about the city not growing. They don't want chain stores coming in. They don't want chain restaurants coming in. They want things that are unique. We value people shopping local. And that's part of what's made Corvallis really, really nice. Now, there's a few things that happened in the meantime that made that kind of unsustainable. One of the things is what happened with HP. So
what happened with HP? Because it was booming, and then what happened?
So you went through this whole, like a few decades of boom from HP. They had all kinds of tax benefits from being here. So they were like one of the major employers in town, if not the major employer. And then the tax benefits ran out. The culture of the company changed too. Like they got a CEO that was much more focused on making sure that shareholders got what they wanted.
Right.
And it really changed, read between the lines, destroyed the culture that was there. And then they started laying off people and off-siting some things. And so HP's presence here really shrunk. And along with that went a lot of the affluent families and larger families that were kind of the bedrock of the community. And so for a little while, the Corvallis economy was just kind of adrift because now it's like, okay, who's the next major employer? So you have OSU, you have Samaritan, and so those things have kind of fluctuated. So I think one of the things that Corvallis has gone through is and these are things that are being addressed, but on one hand, you have not enough housing.
Right.
So there's a good amount of housing, but for a community that didn't really want to grow, there was enough housing. But now it's like you got to bring people in for the economy. Right. And so that's one thing. The other thing, too, is we've had struggles in the school district.
Isn't CV going to close down, and didn't Sheldon just close down?
So Sheldon's closed. There's another elementary school closed. It used to be Wilson. I can't remember the new name.
But why? Why are we losing all these schools? Why?
Oh, well, there's
no one's
a few
having
reasons. Like, I don't know who's having babies and who isn't, but there's a lot of people that are unsatisfied with the school district. There's been some weird moves in terms of how we do math and politics. And so you get a lot of people who have sent their kids to Philomath for school, or there's families that literally have packed up and left because they wanted to do this they wanted to get rid of tracking where it's like you could do advanced math or anything like that. And so some people just question some of the leadership's commitment to like schools and kids and everything like that.
Well, you think because we have OSU and it's a college town and you have like engineer students and you have veterinarian students. I mean, like, you know what I mean? It's like highbrow. It's a big ag school, agriculture, like meaning it's just about like, you know, like I'll be sometimes at Market of Choice and like, you know, that Scott who runs Titan has never been to Market of Choice.
I've met him. What, really?
I literally, like, I I go, shut up.
Why? Why?
And he goes, it's just too expensive. I go, Scott, so you never enter. I get it's too expensive, but I am there 2 or 3 times.
I mean, if people could see how many monitors and screens there are in this room, they would understand where all Scott's money
goes.
Yes,
right,
he can't go for expensive
No, he can't.
stones.
And then he like bought a machine the other day that like he goes, oh, it makes it makes the t-shirts and the jackets with Titan and the hats and
He doesn't have money for $14 dish soap.
No, he doesn't. Exactly. But my point to you is that I'll be in the Market of Choice parking lot and you'll see like a Range Rover, and every once in a while I'm like, look, she's got a Louis Vuitton purse. You know what I mean? Like, in California, that's just like, if you don't have a Louis Vuitton, you're, So I'm like, well, there is money, and I don't know, is that like the football money? And now that these athletes are making their NIL and like they're coming here and the school is paying someone, I know what Jammers or Jam, I forget the football player, like they're paying him Jamo.
Oh, Jamo. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, didn't he just get paid $1.5 million, $2 million to come here?
Oh, I don't know.
He did. I'm trying to get him on the podcast.
All I know is I've been here a while and nobody's offered me $1.5 million.
Okay, so and NIL, a lot of people hate NIL, but I'm saying like...
I don't.
You don't?
No, and I think it's weird, and we're in a difficult season with it, but I think paying athletes for being the product is absolutely the right thing to do.
Right.
Yeah.
I do too. I think it makes it also way more interesting.
Yeah.
I think the NCAA has shit to work out. Like if they pay you 1.5 and then you go into the transfer portal 8 months later, I don't think that's okay.
No, that's got to be
that's
fixed.
the shit.
Fraud.
That's fraud. That's the stuff they need to figure out, right? Like meaning, hey, if we give you X amount of dollars, you're playing for all 4 years unless you get hurt or what, like meaning all of that stuff. But I mean, I just feel like and someone recently said, "Oh, we have so much homeless in Corvallis." I said, "Get on a plane."
Yeah.
It's not a lot.
Yeah,
it's not a lot. I know all 7 of the homeless people, and that, like, you know what I mean. Actually, I said to the guy the other day, I was like, "I got you a sandwich. Your sign says you're hungry." He was like, "Well, I really want money," and I go, "Well, why don't you just really put I really want heroin on your sign?" Like meaning.
Well, and
we'd appreciate your honesty.
I mean, the people who are unhoused that I've met around here, they're really cool. You know,
they all have a story.
They're not bad people,
right?
And most of them aren't out there like doing a bunch of crime or anything like that. We're one of the few clinics in town that take Oregon Health Plan, and so we have a few homeless patients.
Right.
It's kind of funny because. And we treat everybody the same. I don't care if you are an OSU athlete or if you are living over on the waterfront. Like we're gonna treat everybody the same.
Right.
Yeah. And so sometimes people like they appreciate it and they're like, I've been telling all my friends about you, and I'm like, you know what? We can just keep it between us. Yeah.
Tell all your friends by the river.
Yeah,
it's okay.
No, it's good.
We might lose a lot of people in that waiting room.
Yeah. Right. But no, we got. I mean, even the homeless people here are pretty cool. Right. And I mean, go to San Francisco. I took my wife on a long date. Right. To San Francisco. I had a airplane voucher or something that I had to use up. So I was like, let's go down to San Francisco just for the weekend. So she's like, cool. So we're like down there going to breakfast, lunch, like seeing the sights and everything. And we're walking down the road and I'm like people, this is not Corvallis. Like in Corvallis, when people walk their dogs, they pick up the dog. Right. For the most part. And San Francisco is like, man, you're just dodging piles left and right. And then I discovered this was not dog poop. It was
human poop.
It was because I saw a pile being produced. Right. And I was like, oh, yes. Right. So, yeah, it's good to be here.
No, it is. Let me tell you something.
We got good problems.
I went to California like a month ago and like right by Century City Mall, so like Beverly Glen and Little Santa Monica, a man fully naked touching his you-know-what, like on the corner. Mm-hmm. And I said to my older, I go, literally, I cannot, like this is... It's too much. Like meaning it's gotten in LA, like, even though I'm born and raised there and people getting robbed left and right. Like I raised my kids in the Palisades. The house we raised, gone. You know what I mean? My girlfriend fighting State Farm because, they owe her all this money for her house burning down. Like we don't have those problems here. It took me a little while to adjust to Corvallis, but I really do love it. And when I first moved here, people would when I still had my California plates, like I'd be driving downtown and people would pull up to me and go, and I'd be like, what did I? Yeah. Just my plates alone. Like they hated that I was from California.
Yeah, they're like, oh, it's a true Oregonian. Get her.
Exactly. And so they would get me. And then, but I really, it took me a little while after the first year of seasonal depression because of the weather. Like that 8 months kills me. Like now at this time when it's May, I'm like, I really need June to come. I need the sun. Like, you know, like you start to really go.
And you know, it's not the sun.
What is it?
It's the lack of activity. That's what it is. Like the seasonal affective disease, like people are like, oh yeah, you're not getting the vitamin D. It's not, it's just not being active. Like you just got to do something.
No, I go to Timber, since I moved here, I work out like a friggin' fiend because when I first moved here the first year, I literally was like cooking lasagna, never going anywhere. And then the second year, I was like, oh, no. I dropped 50 pounds immediately, got into Timber Hill. I go to burn boot camp. Like I literally was like, no, like I will lose my mind. So it's actually, like you said, because yes, you can get in a depression with the cold weather, but I had to really go like, okay, let me go the other way, you know, and working out has saved my life. But Oregon too, even when I come back from like a trip in New York and I come back here, I'm like, going through Eugene Airport, I'm like, it's so like, meaning there's just, and like when I'm off Peoria, so like the green, I'm like, hello, like, you know.
I know exactly what you mean. Like, and you don't even have to get all the way out of the airport. It is when the door opens to the airplane and you get into the tunnel.
Totally.
And it's like, it's a little cool. It's a little,
I like the little
damp.
smell of the rain.
Yeah. Like, okay.
Okay. The air is fresh. You can breathe. And there really is something to say. It took me a little while but getting back to you, like, I know you've been at like football games and you guys are so active in the football and like, you know, when Alston was playing baseball, so active, like, and running your practice and doing like, what made the pitch come about? You and Kathy, how did that come to be?
Yeah, that was easy.
It was?
She just came to me one day and she
came to you.
Yeah, she's like, you know, we should do a podcast. And I don't even think she was through the sentence before I was like, yeah, we totally should. Let's do it. And I think I freaked her out a little bit because I just like picked it up and ran with it. So I was like, oh yeah, we need to do this. And I started.
How did you find Titan? How did you find the podcast studio? How did that all come together?
We're in the same networking group. Corvallis Business Network.
Right.
And so we knew Scott from that. And I think that's kind of what piqued her interest was she's like, oh, Scott's got a podcast studio. And so then she's like, well, what would I make a podcast about? And like, who would I make it with? And so I was all about it. There's the other thing too, which is that I did theater for a little bit here in town in the local Majestic Theater. Right. Shout out to my theater kids.
Yeah.
But doing a show, and I should add, I didn't do it because I wanted to. I did it to support Griffin.
Right.
Yeah, who wanted to be in a play, and he
Griffin,
got nervous.
I love, by the way. Your son, like I hate to say this to you, and I hope I don't step up. He's a creative being. I hope you know that. Like,
oh, definitely.
He like, and I have been around talent for a very long time. Like, he's got that little it factor. He's a creator, and that's something when people say, "How can I be better?" Look. 75% you got to be born with that gene, you know, and he has that gene.
Yeah.
I hope you're nurturing it.
Oh, totally. And, you know, so the thing is, he wanted to be in, it was going to be Elf, the musical, right? And so he wanted to go and audition. And so we take him to the auditions and he gets nervous and he's like, I don't know if I want to do this. And I was like, look, dude, I'll audition with you.
Right.
So I went and I sang Happy Birthday. Right. And then he went and auditioned and just sang like he's got a beautiful singing voice. And then he hit puberty. Who knows what singing voice is like now. But so he ended up getting one of the leads. And then I got cast as Santa Claus. And so it was really cool because we got to do this thing together.
I love that.
And I really enjoyed it. It was fun. Like I had acted once before, and that was in high school. I was in a play called The Last Fertile Man on Earth. I did not play the title role.
Sure, Jason.
I did not. I played a newscaster, and what happened? So these were one-act plays
coming up today at 7:00. Yeah,
and it was just one show, right? And so I went and I'm doing my part, and I'm supposed to read this thing about scientists, blah blah blah. And so then I get done with my part, and I look off to the side, and they're like, "Keep going because we're not ready yet." And I'm like, "Oh," so I had to start making up. Yeah, I had to start making up news stories and stuff, and so that was kind of fun. And then I got my chance doing Elf, and then I made some good friends doing that. And I was like, I want to do Spam-A-Lot with some of my friends. Right. Like one of the leads from Elf was directing Spam-A-Lot, so I did that. And at the culmination of all this, I looked and these were some of the best experiences of my life, but they were costly time-wise.
Right.
Like it's a ton of time away from the family, away from work. And so one of the things that was nice about this, especially when I went to my wife with it, was if I could do this podcast, I don't have to do plays.
Right.
Because
She was like, do the podcast.
Yeah,
right.
it scratches that itch. Plus, she likes that it's actually related to what I do to make money.
Right.
So, whereas dressing up like a knight.
Right. Not so much.
Not so much.
But let's talk about the family for a second, because I had the privilege of meeting your daughters really briefly at Woodstock like 2 years ago. They were in town before. One was going to New York. One was getting like spied on in Portland. Like the Airbnb had like cameras, which is freaky.
That's right.
Remember that?
Oh my gosh.
But they're super bright.
Yeah.
I mean, so what do you attribute your kids all being super smart, super bright, like overachievers?
Are you familiar with the concept of total war?
Yes and no.
Okay, so total war, like Ukraine is probably the most recent example we might think of when it comes to total war. Right? When you have a force that invades, like Russia invades Ukraine, and every man, woman, child, person in a wheelchair, person laying in a bed, every athlete, everybody is now in the army. Right? It is total war.
Right.
All your neighbors, all your enemies are now friends. You are united in that cause. So we have a kind of a total war ethos or philosophy about how our family is run. My dream would be to be like a mafia family, right? From not out there doing illegal stuff, but we're very committed to each other. We're very committed to each other's success, making each other look good, living our lives in a way where nobody ever has to be ashamed to be associated with somebody. So like people say things like, oh, Griffin, and I know it's going to be good stuff after because he's a great kid. And we all understand this. So, so we care, and we like we are all about Team Young. Team Young is the thing. So, and my daughters, I think that we just got really, really lucky because they're both like brilliant, beautiful, motivated. And it's kind of made things weird because we kind of have these two sets. The girls are older and then the boys are a little bit younger. And with the boys, there's some things where it's like, man, we never had to tell the girls that. Like, and so I'm wondering, like, am I just not a good parent because I didn't like?
No, boys are way different. Way different.
And the boys are great too.
They are,
but they're way
different. Their brains, their frontal vortex, like they're just it's a different, and. I'm like the mom and the dad because I basically raised Finn, and that's why I think I have a hate against the lacrosse team because they love Finn's dad, who sees him 2 weeks out of the year. When he comes in town, they're like, "Tommy, you're so great, Tommy," and I'm like, I yell like, "Go Finn!" They're like, "Shh,
quiet,
Marky, you're too loud." Exactly, we can't hear Tommy. He made our t-shirts. I'm like, right? I'm like, how about can he pay me some child support? How about help with like food, a car payment, nothing? But
Tommy, if you're listening,
Tommy, and I hope you are, cut this clip especially for him, Scott. But so I think what happens is when I go to lacrosse, like they're always like, "Marky, we don't yell like that. Marky, we don't root like that." And one time they played Albany last year, and it was like one of those rainy Oregon nights, but it was like May where it like had rained in the day, but like the skies had cleared. So when I got to the game and all the parents were on the other side covered because it had probably rained 20 minutes before. So I'm on the visitor side, the only parent like on the visitor side, and I get to the game and Finn scores, right? Like, and I go, "Oh my God, that's how we do it!" Like, this little man.
Suck it, Albany.
Yes, I didn't say suck.
Where's Alex Johnson now? Where's Alex Johnson?
Alex for Albany. No, but I said, I see this little dad, like maybe he's like 4'2", like turns around and looks at me and he goes, and I'm on the phone with my older son. I was like, "Oh hell no! What is going on? Like, am I in an alternative universe?" And my older son on the phone goes, "I hope he doesn't come to you to try to reprimand you." I said, "You know what? I double dog dare him. I really want him to." Like, he turns around, he walks over. He's like, "If you root," and I go root for my kid, like I'm gonna be, ejected.
Yeah,
I'm the only person, And it's so weird because, like, I just have this weird thing. I don't know why I just told you about my lacrosse weird thing.
No, but
I loved when he played baseball. I said, Finn, it was so fun going. Like, the parents were so fun. Everybody talked. We'd sit there for 3 hours, sometimes, like, meaning everybody was so, "Hey, I'm going to Chipotle. Hey, I'm going, like, get me." it was such a community.
So, and it reminds me of Little League. So for a long time, I coached every sport imaginable. Like I started with coaching soccer, which I know so little knew so little about soccer that when I agreed to coach it, I had to look up how many points a goal is worth, right? But then there were some other sports I knew more about. Baseball is one of them.
Right.
And we had that team mentality where it was like people were like clamoring to get on our team. Right. Because number one, I cared about winning and losing. Right. Because I think winning's fun. And and kids know the difference. Right. And they want to have a good time. And it's a part
of life. You're going to win some and you're going to lose some.
It's part of why we want our kids to play sports. Right. Because it's not because you want them to like win all the time. No. It's because you want them to learn to lose in a controlled environment and overcome that. Totally. So there's value in that. I hate it when people are like, we shouldn't keep score. Right. Well, you should go back to your job where you're working for free. Right. Apparently. Right. But we would have meals at every game. And so there was people that are like, can we get on your team? Can you pick my kid for the team? Right. Because we want to do the dinners. Right. Can we do the dinners? Right. And so, but I think that like parent group and stuff, it's a really fun group of people. It is.
When Finn told me he wanted to play lacrosse, it really broke my heart. I go, well, that's the one thing I look forward to was literally spring and going to the baseball games.
You can still come to the baseball game.
I should. Is Alston playing?
Alston's not playing, but we still go to all the games.
You do? I should go.
Yeah, and we still cheer for him because he like keeps the stats. Right, like, oh, look, the stats updated. Right. That's my boy. That's my boy. Did you see that? Right. Did you see that an error just got logged?
That's my boy. Right.
Did your kid put in the error or did he commit the error? Okay.
But do you think with being in a college town where sports is so prevalent and like with these boys, like I say to Finn all the time, like, look, that's why we had a plan B with first time in a studio for me, Jason.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no, of course not. But I don't know who
At least it wasn't me.
Look at spam risk.
Oh, answer. Let's do it.
Let's do a spam call. Hello? Oh, they want to loan me $280,000. And they only need a couple documents.
We were going to have some fun if that wasn't like a robot call.
I know. I mean, I must be on some list because they want to give me $280,000 really badly.
Heck yeah.
But yeah, I think what I do love about Corvallis, I like the family aspect. I do think it's a very like sports town. We go to a lot of U of O games and a lot of OSU games. What do you think OSU's? I know. Don't be mad. I know. I know. We go to some U of O. We
do Roadrunners. We do Beavers.
I know.
Okay. Anyway, but go ahead.
So, did you go to OSU? Yes,
I did. Yeah, that's where I met my wife.
What was she going to school for? And what were you going?
She was going to school to meet me, but mostly. No. It's funny being. We'll like raise the eyebrows. We'll be like, and she's like, "Don't do that." We're like, "Do what?" She's like,
not?
"Don't do that thing where you bite your lip." Like, no problem with that. She's like, "Yeah, you guys are over here like this." And I'm like, no, we don't do the bottom.
Do your kids do this on the phone?
Bite the top lip. No, my oldest daughter does that.
I mean, sometimes I'll catch Finn doing that, but go on.
Yeah. It was about...
You're meeting your wife at OSU.
Yes.
Yeah. What was she doing and what were you doing? What were you getting your degrees in?
She was studying business. I was studying business, actually. She was ahead of me. Because...
Is she older?
No, I'm older. Okay. No, but I went and I served a mission for my church. And so
Are you Mormon?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh. So I came back and I was, probably a little more older and sophisticated
than her.
No, yeah.
Like Taylor Frankie Paul from The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. Yeah. We can dive really hardcore into that, but keep going.
Yeah, boy. Okay. Yes. You probably met her.
My son cast her season that got scrapped by ABC after the domestic violence. But those wacky Mormons.
That also dirty because they knew.
They knew. I was literally fighting in the comments. People like going there like, I go, you guys, Hulu and ABC are one and the same. That happened 3 years ago. Like, meaning all of this is nonsense. And they're re-airing it this summer. So
that's good.
Right.
Yeah. So, but anyway, so I got home. It's funny because the first time I ever saw her was a picture of her because I was riding back and forth with her roommate. So she's like, look, this is all my roommates and everything. And so then I got home and I was planning on dating like her roommate. And so
This is Titans. We want to keep
Yeah.
it. You're a Titan of the community.
yes.
Jason,
So,
yeah.
so I got home and it took me about 5 minutes to realize I do not want to date that girl.
Right.
And so then I ended up actually meeting Mandy like a week later. We were over at Shintimony Park playing sand volleyball.
Right.
And I talk trash. That's my main athletic skill.
Right.
Is trash
Me
talk.
too. I love a good trash
Yes,
talking.
absolutely.
Yeah, come
Absolutely,
on.
yes. And
Pussies!
so-
You can't take it.
So I was talking a lot of trash with her, and I liked the way that she
Talked back.
Yeah, she talked back,
Right.
right? And I actually that day I decided I was like, this is who I want to marry,
Right.
And I stalked her for 2 years.
Was she Mormon at the
and it
time
happened.
too, or
Yeah.
did she convert?
Yeah.
Okay.
No. Yeah. And so I stalked her for 2 years and made it happen. It was great.
Is there a big Mormon community in Corvallis?
See, now Corvallis is interesting. I think.
Is there a
I
Mormon
don't-
church?
Oh, there's 2, 3. There's actually 4 in the area.
Really?
Yeah.
So there must be a big Mormon community if there's 4 Mormon churches.
Yes-ish. But the thing is that
Yes-ish.
Corvallis, yeah. And
Is that like
here's-
Blackish? Yes. Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Here's the caveat. Once upon a time, Corvallis was rated as the least churched city per capita in the country.
Really? And I see lots of churches here.
Yeah, and so
It-
that
so
is
they
in
had to
terms of
catch
people
up.
actually going.
Yeah.
So it's not like the average person that you meet on the street
Right.
is going to church every Sunday.
Right.
Which I think has been changing lately, which I think is good. I don't care what church you go to.
Right.
I think it's good when people go to church.
Right.
And if you don't want to go to church, I think it's good when people believe in something that's
Right.
higher. I think it's good for them, which is
Totally.
good for everybody.
100%.
Yeah. Unless you're crazy.
And unless you're crazy. I always say that to Finn too, like meaning you have to believe then there's something bigger than yourself. Like, you
Yeah.
know, some people say God, some people say universe. Like, you know what I mean? To me, I always say I'm God's favorite child and that's
Yeah.
why God will always look out for me. And I believe that.
Yeah.
You know, my parents were raised my mom was very, my dad wasn't, but my mom was very, Catholic, Italian. And, but I lost her when I was 20. She died of a brain aneurysm. Longevity. My grandpa was Lou Costello, Babin and Costello. He died at 52 of a heart
Yes.
attack. My mom died at 48 of a brain aneurysm. My dad, who lives here, had a massive
Yeah.
stroke last year. So I say heart attack or stroke's taking me out soon, Doc. Yeah.
So you skipped over the Costello thing.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you that.
Who's on
but-
first? What's on second? I don't know who's on third. Strange as it may seem, they get ball players now. Very peculiar names on the 2% team. We have who's on first, what's on second. I don't know who's on third. That's what I want to find out. You want to know the fellow's name? Who's on first? Jump in, Jason!
I can't. No, but when you guys first moved here, that's what we were talking about. Like everybody would be like, "Hey, you know who her grandfather is?" And everybody, yeah, it's Costello from Abbott and Costello. And it's like, yeah. And so it's funny because everybody would share that like
Right.
it's the secret that
Like,
they knew.
ooh,
Yeah.
right.
And so it took a while before
Right.
anybody wanted to talk because they were like, what's going to happen if you talk to somebody who is kind of famous,
Right.
So, but you're dope.
I
You're
don't
real
mind.
cool.
I'm dope. Yeah.
Yeah, you're real cool.
I mean, no one wants to talk about the P Diddy. What were the parties called?
That's what we led with.
That's what
the
we
freak off.
The freak off.
Yeah.
I know. No, they want to talk. Yeah. No. No. I really want to bring media back here, and I think you and I see eye to. I think media. I want to like even when I'm like talking to people earlier today that came on for this real estate stuff that Scott's doing. They're like, I go, you guys have to understand this next generation is here.
Yeah.
They're on their like.
Yeah.
I'll say to Finn, like, look at a website. He's like, Mom, it's 2026. I'm looking at their Instagram or TikTok.
Yeah.
Like, they're not. So I say to these businesses, salon owner, I'm like, you guys that have no presence on social media, no media, they'll be
Yeah.
like, I don't like the way I look. I don't like to talk. And I'm like, I can help you with all of that.
Yeah.
But it's so crazy. Their mindset's like, no. But they better catch up because this
Yeah.
isn't going away.
Well, and the thing is too is that people, I think by and large, don't understand the value of just getting started. So
Right.
I'm actually in the midst. I'm on day 68 of a campaign, a social media campaign.
I see yours when you're like,
You do?
yes, I do. Yeah.
My 100 days of
Right.
evidence for chiropractic.
Right.
And what a lot of people don't realize, because I don't talk about it, is I'm actually running a study with that.
Right.
I want to see if I can have conversations about evidence with people.
Right.
I'm actually tracking it, and I am going to write a paper on it. And like I already have a couple presentations that are lined up where it's basically figuring out how do we have conversations about things that people get emotionally charged about. And the thing that's weird is, I'm relying heavily on AI to help me with this and to keep it all organized and everything. And so I'm getting calls from people. Like I got a call from a guy who is he's part of a state association, and he's like, "Hey, listen, we are trying to expand our scope, and you are an expert on this, and so I need you to tell me what can I tell them?" And and he thinks that I'm an expert based on the fact that I've been reading these things for 68 days. And I think that people don't understand because they want it to be all polished and they need the effects.
No,
it needs to look like this.
I know.
I need to be able to do a TikTok dance. No, you just got to show up. And find your voice and do it wrong a whole bunch. Like my early ones, I'm like, oh, this is crap. Now it's like kind of polished.
100%. No one, and I tell people, they don't want it perfect and polished. We want it real, raw, relatable. They want to go like, oh my God, I can do that too. When I started doing Corvallis, I said, I'm not going to put that podcast anywhere. I just want the clips. Because guess what? And now I just was reading an article literally in the Washington Post about how this next generation, they just want the clips. They're just like the clips. If they're really interested in the subject that happened on that podcast, they'll go listen to it at the gym or whatever. But I just said, I'm doing an experiment. I want to see if people...
Experiments are good.
Do you know what's interesting? Since I'm going to do Corvallis in a couple of weeks, but I've been so busy with other stuff. But I said to people they're like, where's Corvallis? You haven't put any of the new stuff out. And I'm thinking, really? Like, and it's just, they miss the clips. And so
they want to pop up in
they want to pop in their feet.
Well, who's that? Is that Taylor Frankie?
Paul. Taylor Frankie Paul, Secret Lives of Mormon Lives.
Yeah, but nobody cared about her until her season got canceled.
Exactly.
Right? And so I think people really get worried about bad things happening and, what if somebody thinks that? And one of the things that has been nice about doing this series is there is a definite cult of hating chiropractors on social media to the point where I know a lot of doctors who are like, I'm not putting anything out there because people are going to say bad things.
Well, let me give you a little advice about haters. You guys, the algorithm does not know the difference between the haters and the lovers.
Yes.
So when people are going, I hate your guts, or they're saying, I love you, there's no difference. All the algorithm sees is engagement. Yep. You know what? Like when I had a TV show called The Drama Queen on E, and I'll never forget, like some girl in Australia watched it and goes, I'd rather stab my eyeballs out with a fork than watch Murky. Right? And I go, wow, I am so impressed. And I go, and really flattered. Someone I don't know on the other side of the world
will do self-harm.
For me, who she's never met. Right? And meaning it takes way more to hate than to love. And I tell people all the time, like, if that's what's stopping you from creating content or doing anything, stop it.
Yeah. And there's something that's really, really powerful to understand. And that is, I know you, but I don't know you.
Right.
There's maybe 3 people in the world who really know me.
Yeah,
you, right. And that's the way it is for just about everybody.
Right.
Okay. You probably have 2 or 3 people who really, really know you.
Right.
And those people are people that you trust.
Right.
And trust means that you are open enough with that person that they can know everything about you and they still like you anyways.
Right.
Okay. And so if somebody wants to say something bad to me or about me, when you understand this, there's only so much damage that can do because they don't know me.
Right.
They have an idea of me.
Right. Exactly.
Right? They know a guy whose face starts out way too close to the camera when he starts his videos.
Right.
And so, like, when people say all these hateful things, first of all, I know way more about what I'm talking about than they do.
Right.
And so, that doesn't faze me.
No.
And then the other thing, too, is, like, that's not my wife.
Right.
It's not my father.
Right.
It's not one of my children. So they don't know me.
It's nobody that you give a shit about that really knows you, that you care. Like, meaning, that's the truth. Like, meaning, and I know, like, I see it with, like, Finn's generation, like, he's scared to post certain things or so afraid. And maybe because they're so impressionable and they're so young at that age, too.
Oh, well, those kids are diabolical. They can do some bad stuff.
Yeah, I mean, and wait, can we just, before we go, can we talk about prom? Like, Finn's going stag, and I was like, okay, well, what's the plan? He goes, I don't know. Like, meaning, I mean, am I the only parent? Like, what's going on?
Our generation never would have done that, right? You're not, if you don't have a date, you're not going.
You weren't not right.
That's not how this.
No,
that's
these
not
kids
how
are
this
happy
kid-
to go stag.
Yeah,
they're
it's-
proud of it.
And even like going on the date
Right.
doesn't really mean much. It's just
No.
like we are arriving together. But like my sons went to some dance and Griffin asked a girl and he showed up and they just hung out with a bunch of kids.
Right.
Like, I don't even know that they were together most of the time. And then afterwards, like they left together, but like nobody saw any problem with that.
Right,
Which
right.
that's not like the Pretty in Pink.
Right.
You know.
No, it was
Pretty
so
in Pink
much-
era.
right,
It's like
right,
this is who
right,
you're going with.
right.
Possibly marrying.
Right.
Yes.
No, it's interesting because, like, yeah, they're excited to go as stag. Well, this has been an episode of. What are we? Oh, no, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I've done so many podcasts for Scott today.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
like, you know what it
wait.
is? He props me up. Marky will get them
Well,
talking.
can I-
This has been Titans and Tangents.
I can sense that you're trying to end the podcast. And I want to say something really
Yes.
important before we do. Because I've had this thought pop up a couple
Okay.
times. And I think this is something people deserve to know.
Okay.
And I don't know where this quote comes from. And I'm afraid to look it up because I'm afraid that it's not real, that it's maybe something that I just thought of. And I thought, man, this is so profound that I'm just quoting it. But like, what if I'm the guy who said it? I don't know. It's probably not. Because
What is it?
The quality of your life.
It's my first time in a studio.
They can't hear it.
They could go.
No,
go
they
on.
can't hear
Yeah.
it. The quality of your life is the types of problems that you have.
I love that. The quality of life is the types of problems you
Yes,
have.
the quality of your life. You can?
Oh, you
Okay.
can.
All right. Oh, well, they're gone. Yes, the quality of your life is the type of problems that you have. So I listed all these things that, you know, could be better about Corvallis. We talked about parents. We talked about healthcare. We talked about this and that. And it's like, I have really good problems. Like with my kids, like my
Right.
boys, for example, like they're not on drugs. I don't have to go pick them up
I
from prison
agree,
or anything
I
like that.
agree 100%.
We don't have to worry about if a mountain is going to fall on
No,
our house or anything.
no.
And so I am grateful for wonderful problems.
I am too. And I
Yes.
say that to Finn all the time. I'm like, you know, when he got hurt in lacrosse, I said, okay, let's look at it from the other side. Like, meaning you're not in the hospital. You
Yeah.
can still play again, meaning, you know, and I say that the fact that you have a roof over your head, a car to drive, like you can laugh, there's so much in the little things. And I think really Oregon, Corvallis specifically taught me, like, I would have never gone to the gym in LA because I didn't have time. It was my clients, my students, my kids, my business, my studio. Here I got to kind of rediscover me again and, you know, fall in love with media again because it was such a big part of job. I had to teach everybody and I could teach people I didn't love. And now
Oh, the media problems here have got to be way better than the media problems back in LA.
they are.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's just made me fall, Corvallis has really made, in so many lovely ways,
Yes.
has really made me fall in love with life again. So as much as we make fun of the pizza or this or that or whatever it may be, I love Corvallis.
The land of wonderful problems.
And I'm so happy that Scott has this podcast studio because when I found Scott, it was like I found my people. Like I was like, oh my God, Jason has a podcast. Like, let's get media happening. And I love that, we're going to sit down and talk to cool Titans that are making cool strides and, you know, in town. And you're like a mini celebrity here, Jason. So that is this episode. All right,
There
that's
you
it
go.
for today. We'll see you later. Bye.